It's official. The automotive world just got hit with a nuclear-level confession that nobody saw coming. Wayne Carini, the 73-year-old legend behind chasing classic cars, has finally broken his silence about what really happened with Roger Barr. And let me tell you, this isn't just some workplace disagreement or creative differences. This is about betrayal, abandonment, and a friendship that died in the shadows while millions of fans watched, completely unaware. For years, viewers noticed Roger had vanished from the show without explanation. No farewell episode, no goodbye message, just silence. The kind of silence that screams louder than any argument ever could. Sources close to the production say Wayne has been carrying this guilt like a weight on his chest, and now he's ready to unload everything. What really went down between these two automotive legends? Why did one of television's most beloved partnerships implode without a single word to the fans who loved them? And most devastatingly, what does Wayne regret most about how it all ended? The answers will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about loyalty, friendship, and what happens when the cameras stop rolling. Let's rewind a bit to understand just how deep this betrayal cuts. Wayne Carini and Roger Barr weren't just co-workers who happened to share screen time. These men were brothers in every sense except blood. Long before chasing classic cars made them household names, Wayne and Roger were grinding it out in the small town of Glastonbury, Connecticut. Wayne grew up in his father's body shop, learning every bolt, every curve, every secret that classic cars whispered to those who truly listened. Just a few miles away, Roger had his own garage, turning wrenches on foreign cars with the kind of precision that only comes from a lifetime of dedication. Their first meeting wasn't some Hollywood moment. It was two car guys crossing paths in a tight-knit community where reputation meant everything. But the chemistry was instant. Wayne saw in Roger a craftsman who understood that cars weren't just metal and chrome. They were stories, dreams, pieces of history that deserved respect. When Chasing Classic Cars got the green light, Wayne knew Roger had to be part of it. Not as an employee, not as a hired hand, but as a partner. Their on-screen chemistry was pure magic. Wayne would track down these incredible barn finds, these forgotten treasures, and Roger would work his mechanical wizardry to bring them back to life. Viewers didn't just watch them restore cars, they watched a friendship in motion. The dry humor, the shared glances when something went wrong, the way they could communicate without words. It was authentic in a way that television rarely captures. For over a decade, they were the dynamic duo of automotive television. Roger's steady hands and encyclopedic knowledge perfectly complemented Wayne's passion for the hunt. They weren't just fixing cars, they were preserving automotive history, one restoration at a time. That's why when Roger suddenly vanished around 2018, fans felt more than confusion. They felt like they'd lost part of their own family. The show continued, but something essential was missing. The heart, the soul, the brotherhood that made Chasing Classic Cars special. It was gone. And Wayne? He kept filming, kept smiling for the cameras, but insiders say he was dying inside. But here's where it gets even darker than anyone imagined. The official story was that Roger left due to health issues, multiple infections in his leg from a work-related injury. That part was true, but it's what happened next that Wayne says haunts him every single day. According to sources familiar with the situation, Roger wasn't just dealing with physical pain. He was drowning in medical bills, fighting for workers' compensation, and desperately needed support from the people he'd helped make millions. And Wayne? He was nowhere to be found. Roger reached out multiple times, a former F40 Motorsports employee reveals. He wasn't asking for charity, he was asking for help from someone he considered family. The silence from Wayne's camp was deafening. But that's not even the most shocking part. While Roger was struggling with his health and finances, Wayne was reportedly focused on protecting the show's image. Sources say there were discussions about how Roger's condition might affect filming, how his absence could be explained without damaging the brand. It became about business instead of brotherhood, an insider close to the production reveals. Wayne got caught up in the machine and Roger became collateral damage. The devastating truth? Roger didn't just leave F40 Motorsports, he was essentially pushed out. Not through any official termination, but through a systematic withdrawal of support that made his position untenable. When someone you've worked alongside for decades suddenly becomes unreachable, the message is crystal clear. Roger's family later confirmed on social media that he wasn't receiving help with medical bills or workers' compensation. That's when the picture became brutally clear. This wasn't about creative differences or natural career evolution. This was about abandonment when it mattered most. Wayne's camp stayed silent, which only fueled speculation. But behind closed doors, sources say Wayne was wrestling with a decision that would define his character. Stand by his longtime partner and friend, or protect the business empire they'd built together. He chose the business. And according to those closest to the situation, that choice has been eating him alive ever since. The man who spent decades celebrating loyalty, craftsmanship, and authentic relationships had failed the ultimate test of friendship. And now, 5 years later, the guilt is finally spilling over. Then came the nuclear moment that changed everything. Roger didn't just quietly fade away. He took a job at Paddock Car Restorations in New Britain, Connecticut. For those who understand the automotive restoration world, this move was unprecedented. Roger could have worked anywhere, a respected industry veteran explains. The fact that he chose a competitor, that he walked away from everything he'd built with Wayne, tells you everything about how betrayed he felt. But the evidence of Wayne's regret goes much deeper. Sources close to the Chasing Classic Cars production reveal that Wayne has been struggling with the show's direction ever since Roger left. The magic was gone, and everyone knew it. Wayne would sometimes stop mid-sentence during filming, a former crew member reveals. You could see him looking around, expecting Roger to be there with some insight or joke. The chemistry he had with replacement mechanics never came close. Word on the street is that Wayne has been reaching out through intermediaries trying to gauge whether Roger would be open to reconciliation. But the damage may be too deep. Roger's family has made it clear on social media that the hurt goes beyond professional disappointment. This wasn't just about a job, Roger's daughter posted on Facebook. This was about family, and family doesn't abandon each other when things get tough. The most devastating evidence? Wayne's recent interviews show a man carrying enormous guilt. When asked about Roger in a 2023 Automotive magazine feature, Wayne's response was telling. Roger was a significant part of our team, and his contributions were invaluable. Circumstances changed, and while we no longer work together, I hold immense respect for him. Industry insiders say that statement was carefully crafted by lawyers, but the emotion behind it was raw and real. Wayne wanted to say more, a source familiar with the interview reveals. You could see him struggling with every word. The silence from Wayne's camp for years wasn't about protecting trade secrets or maintaining professional boundaries. According to multiple sources, it was about shame. The shame of knowing that when his closest friend needed him most, he chose business over brotherhood. And now, as Wayne enters the twilight of his career, that choice is haunting him in ways he never anticipated. This isn't just about two men and a broken friendship anymore. Wayne Carini's devastating confession about Roger Barr has exposed something much darker about the entertainment industry and what happens when authentic relationships get consumed by the business machine. The automotive community is reeling. These weren't just television personalities. They were respected craftsmen who represented the soul of car culture. Their partnership symbolized everything pure about the hobby. Passion over profit, craftsmanship over commerce, loyalty over leverage. When Wayne and Roger's partnership ended, it felt like something died in our community, says a prominent automotive journalist. They represented the old school values that made this culture special. Now we know those values were sacrificed for ratings and revenue. The ripple effects are already being felt across automotive television. Producers are reportedly scrambling to avoid similar situations, implementing new protocols for handling cast departures and health issues. But insiders say the damage to viewer trust may be irreversible. Fans invested emotionally in that friendship, a television industry analyst explains. When they found out it was essentially fake, that business considerations trumped genuine loyalty, it shattered the illusion that made the show special. But the implications go far beyond television. This story has become a cautionary tale about what happens when success corrupts authentic relationships. Wayne Carini built his reputation on celebrating craftsmanship, history, and genuine passion. Yet when faced with a choice between those values and protecting his business interests, he chose the money. The automotive restoration industry is taking notice. Shop owners across the country are reportedly having conversations about loyalty, partnership, and what they owe to the people who helped build their success. The Wayne and Roger situation is a wake-up call, says a prominent restoration shop owner. It shows how easy it is to lose your soul when the stakes get high. Social media has exploded with fans sharing their own stories of feeling betrayed by the show's handling of Roger's departure. The hashtag justice for Roger has gained traction, with longtime viewers demanding transparency and accountability. Even other automotive celebrities are weighing in. Several prominent figures in the car world have posted cryptic messages about loyalty and friendship, clearly referencing the Wayne Roger situation without naming names. The message is clear. The automotive community values authenticity above all else, and Wayne's failure to support Roger has damaged his standing in ways that may never fully heal. Here's what makes this story even more explosive. Sources say Wayne isn't done talking. The guilt has been building for years, and this confession about Roger might just be the beginning. Insiders close to Wayne reveal he's been considering a tell-all book about his decades in the automotive world. And if that happens, Roger's story would just be one chapter in what could be a devastating expose of how the television industry corrupts authentic relationships. But here's the real question that has everyone on edge. Will Roger finally break his silence? For 5 years, he's maintained his dignity, focusing on his work at Paddock Car Restorations. But sources say the renewed attention on his story has him reconsidering his quiet approach. Roger has stories that would shock people, someone familiar with the situation reveals. If he decides to speak out, it could completely rewrite the narrative of what really happened behind the scenes. The automotive world is holding its breath, because this isn't just about one broken friendship anymore. It's about accountability, authenticity, and whether the people we trust with our favorite stories deserve that trust at all. And Wayne Carini? He's about to find out that some regrets can't be fixed, no matter how much you want to make things right. Before we dive deeper into what this means for Wayne's legacy, I need your help with something crucial. If this story is hitting you as hard as it's hitting me, if you're feeling that same sense of betrayal that longtime fans are experiencing, then smash that hype button right now. Here's why this matters. Stories like this only get the attention they deserve when viewers like you show that authentic journalism still matters. Every hype you give sends a message that we won't accept sanitized, corporate-approved versions of the truth. We want the real story, the messy truth, the human cost of success. Your hype isn't just support. It's a demand for more honest storytelling in a world full of carefully crafted PR narratives. So hit that hype button and let's make sure Wayne's confession gets the attention it deserves. Because Roger Barr's story, and stories like it, need to be told.